All right, this is the first one of these I've ever done, but I would like to welcome you to my channel's first review. I was told by a lot of people to review this. This is the Kommandostore P84. The P84 is a chest rig that I wanted for a while, and I've kind of just now got around to filming a review on it. I've had this rig since that would have been around early October, I think, is when I finally got this thing. But my glasses, I finally want to do a review on this thing. I feel that I've ran it enough to get a good idea of my opinion on it, and if this rig is truly a proper successor to something like the P83. In short, this is a great chest rig. It's a solid chest rig, but it doesn't do quite everything I want. We'll get into that a bit later on exact metrics. This is where you cut the camera to make it look like you already had your list out, but you didn't because you're a fucking Neanderthal. First, we're going to talk about who made this and why. The P84 was made by Kommandostore a couple of years ago as a successor to the P83. The South African P83 is a chest rig that was used by the South African armed forces, and it was kind of an upgrade to the Chicom. I'll put a picture of both the rigs I'm talking about, hopefully up here in the corners. But yeah, they're just kind of more sustainment oriented chest rigs that are more focused on, you know, carrying an appropriate amount of mags, 6+1, having all your admin equipment on you, throwables, radio, whatever the fuck you want. But yeah, this rig was made by Kommandostore to basically update all of the I guess dated things on the P83. But yeah, we're gonna talk about how I have this set up right now. So to segue into that, we'll go from right to left. Over here on my right, I have my canteen, just a Rothko canteen pouch. This is a miscellaneous pouch that's sewn onto the rig. I currently have a smoke grenade in that pouch. Right here is a cool little like multi-tool pouch. I currently have, I actually don't have a multi-tool in there, but I do have a flip open pocket knife in there. Right here, these are technically triple stack. I'm gonna get into why that's a bad idea later, but I have 6 mags in here, just currently 6+1 on my ammo count. I have that in this. Over here, you have, I don't know if you can see that, you have a cool little pen holder that is surprisingly more, it's more rigid than I thought. I have ran around, and I'm sure you can tell by how I look right now. I'm a little fucking tired. I beat the piss out of this rig, crawling, running, whatever, smacking against fucking trees as of earlier, but yeah, somehow this thing still stays in here. Over here, I have a gay and retarded Baofeng sitting in this miscellaneous pouch. Over here, I have a also kind of gay Spartan Armory IFAK. The coolest thing about this IFAK is the shear pocket in the back, and the fact that it's actually attached to a little piece of like Velcro that mollies onto the rig. It's only two spaces wide, so you only have 2 spaces to work with on the edge of this rig. So the kind of cool thing is that even though this is about like a 3 wide IFAT kit, it fits on a Velcro piece that is only 2 molly spaces wide, which is kind of cool. And if you have to, you can unbuckle this and, you know, tear it off, you know, whatever. So kind of cool. I don't know if I'd fully recommend it just because I went on a night LARP recently with this, and yeah, we noticed that the rest of the rig actually does really good with its IR compliance, but this not so much. It kind of glows. But down here we have my Chase Tactical Dangler. It's got a lot of my admin equipment in there. I have like my headlamp, I have a Sawyer in there, I have my suppressor tool, I have my spare batteries. I have a bunch of shit in there. Get the fuck off my, get off my bag. There's ticks everywhere. But yeah, that's what I have in there. And in the back flap, I have my Right in the Rain, a few other pens, and an emergency blanket. But yeah, that's about all I have in here. Trying to set this thing up for a radio, by the way. You can do it, but I'm getting to it. So, my experience with running this thing. Overall, it's been pretty positive. I like the concept a lot. I mean, I pre-ordered this thing a long time ago, and like, I eventually, you know, like, I had to wait a while to get it. I will admit, I was Kommandostore sending me email after email after email saying that it got delayed for the 400,000th fucking time. It was really annoying. They did give me a discount on it for it, which is pretty cool, for all the delays and shit. But yeah, regardless, waited a long time to get it, and then when I eventually got it, I had already had technically 2 other chest rigs by that point that were kind of filling its space until then. I plan on doing a review on one of them soon, the T3 gear, the spear, the T3 spear. I plan on doing a review on that just because I've seen like no reviews on that chest rig that aren't from lumpy old people. But overall, it's not a bad chest rig, but we're gonna go into specifics as to why I don't think it's perfect. All right, we're gonna use that as a segue to talk about the pros and cons of this chest rig. So the biggest thing that I want to talk about off the bat is the mag pouch layout is a fucking fantastic idea. I like the idea that you can pick up anything from an AR to something like a fucking FAL and still be able to, you know, throw 6 mags in this thing and run around with it and still be able to use it. I love that idea. I like the layout. I think it's really cool. I like floppies as opposed to bungees are okay. Kydex is also okay, but if I have my druthers, I like just regular old floppy pouches. I like them. The next thing I want to talk about is this right here. Having a dangler on the chest rig is a fucking great idea. I mean, they don't ship it with one, but you can throw one on there, and that's fucking awesome. I think these are great for carrying your admin equipment. They do kind of, you know, sit a little low and they sag around like a big pair of fucking testicles, but it does its job. And you can carry so much shit in here in terms of just small little admin stuff, because things like these little like pouches, you know, these misc pouches, you can throw admin shit in there, but at the end of the day, you're losing space. And I think that's real estate that you could use. But yeah, like having a dangler is is huge. I think that all macro rigs should have a dangler. All right, I think that having a dangler, unless you have like a really fucking big chest rig that has a ton of pouches all over the sides, then yeah, I think a dangler is important, and it can really stretch out the effectiveness of what you can and can't do in the field with what equipment you're able to bring with you. If any of that makes any sense. Next big thing is it's in multicam, and I like multicam. Obviously, maybe you can tell by my pants, and if you've seen my other videos, ATAX is my favorite. I like a lot of different camos, but multicam goes really well with ATAX, so in my case, that's a good thing. People that are running stuff like Pencott, or even like con camo, I don't know about mixing multicam with that. It definitely fits a little better with something like ATAX, but regardless, I'm happy with it. Do I wish they made an ATAX version? Yes I do, but yeah, for anyone trying to do anything serious, unfortunately this is pretty much your only serious option, because right now the only other camo they offer is multicam black, and I think you probably know how I feel about multicam black. So yeah, just I don't know, Kommandostore, make better camos. All right, make better camos. Make this in better camos, please. People will buy them, I promise you. The next thing I want to talk about is these miscellaneous pouches. These two pouches right here, okay, these two, awesome. I fucking love these. These two, I'm not as on board with. The biggest thing is that Molly real estate is already kind of limited on this thing. You only have 2 rows. I may have just at the end of the day preferred if they just had 4 rows on either side of this thing than the miscellaneous pouch. It's not like they're bad. I just feel like for some scenarios I would rather just have the Molly space to throw in a miscellaneous pouch, maybe over here if I wanted to, but over here maybe I want a big IFAC with like a visible fucking tourniquet or something, you know, just the option would have been nice. But that's going to segue into the cons of the rig. So the first thing that we're going to get into is actually a con involving these mag pouches. So they do work, and I've tested it. I don't have anything bigger than a 308 AR to throw in there, but I tested it, and yeah, it'll hold all 6. But there's a slight problem with that, and they do list it on the website now, but I swear to God they never did when I fucking pre-ordered this thing. I swear to God they didn't. If they did, then I never caught it, but they didn't say anything about how tight it would be, and I figured it would be. But the thing is that if you are running something like a 308 AR or bigger, God forbid, as far as I'm concerned, the biggest, even like an AK, I've ran AK mags in here, and it's like re-indexing is a fucking nightmare. It's already kind of hard with 5.56 just because that stupid little like spacer thing they throw in the middle of the mag pouch. I'm half tempted to just cut it out because I hate it so much. But yeah, it's already kind of hard enough with an AR. I've tried doing it with an AK, and I've tried doing it with like a 308 AR platform. No, like, you might want to consider trading out the dangler for a dump pouch, which I don't really like because, again, that's less capability you have in terms of admin equipment to have on your person rather than, let's say, in your giant fucking Mystery Ranch blackjack. But yeah, so slight warning to that. If you want a little demonstration of that, I'll link a video on it in the description of me showing you how tight it is with something like AK mags. if you can get an idea of that, and if that doesn't bother you, and you still want to run this with AKs or something bigger, go for it. The next big thing that I really originally was going to harp on this thing super hard for when I first had the idea for this review, and after running it a while, I really wanted to do it. I wanted to harp on the X harness a lot. A lot. I wanted to fucking tear into this thing for having a stupid fucking X harness. But I will admit, after running it for a while, I will say it's not as bad as I initially thought. And even today with running this big fucker, I've ran this thing with 2 different rucks now. It's been a Mystery Ranch 2DAP and a Mystery Ranch Blackjack 50. It's right here. And it's not as bad as I initially thought it was with the first few times I ran it with my 2DAP. After a while, I've kind of gotten used to it. It's not as terrible as some other X harnesses, but my biggest complaint is really just, why not just have the option to change it out? Like, just put some sturdy fucking buckles on, or whatever. Just have it to where I can swap this out if I really wanted to with like a different harness, or offer it in an H harness variant. I don't get why anyone would run an X harness when H harnesses exist. That's just my biggest thing. Like, this is honestly probably one of the best X harnesses I've ever felt, but it's still an X harness. So I don't know, just we'll get into my verdict on that later. All right, we'll get into that later. Another thing that I actually just remembered is that because it's an X harness, it has no drag handle. Now, when I initially got this and started running drills with it, I didn't even really think about it. But recently, I had a little get together with Meyer Flyer, and we were doing some drills, and one of them was a medical drill where I needed to get dragged. And watching Meyer try to drag me with this X harness is fucking hilarious. It is like, you don't really know where to grab, and it's kind of just a major pain in the ass. You end up just kind of like, just like pulling up, and I'm like doing this with my fucking arms, and like, it just like hurts, and it's hard to do. There's just not a lot of real estate to grab as compared to just having a drag handle. It may seem like something small. I thought it was something small until I actually needed a drag handle. Or I guess Meyer needed a drag handle. A big thing that I don't get is that this whole idea of taking this rig, you know, which was originally, you know, it was envisioned as a modernization of the P83, which is, it's a great idea, but I think that the biggest thing that I hated about the P83, like, I don't like the misc pouches on the P83. I think they're too small, or like in some cases just like oddly shaped for stuff that's very specific. I don't like, obviously at the time danglers didn't exist, so you also have that to complain about. The harness itself didn't really have, like, it's not great for like radio wire, like radio shit, or having, you know, running wires or anything like that. It's like things like Molly didn't exist either, not really. So I can't really blame it for that. But a big thing that I wish that Kommandostore improved on was just putting an H harness on it. I don't get why they didn't just put a fucking H harness on it. Like, I've watched their video, I've watched like the reasoning behind like the X harness or whatever. I don't know, dude. I've ran this now, and I've ran it with this ruck. I've walked around for fucking hours with it, with both this ruck and a different ruck, and I've ran other chest rigs that have H harnesses and not X harnesses, and they just feel better. I don't know how else to point that out. But basically, I want to just close with this. I think this is a great chest rig. I think Kommandostore did a fucking awesome job overall. I think the idea is cool. I think the execution is great, but it could be better. And all I'm asking for is a V2 variant of this rig. Like, doesn't have to come out anytime soon, all right? Doesn't have to come out anytime soon. I still like this thing enough to keep it and run it a lot. If anything, recently, just because of the mag layout and like the admin capability and whatever, just how I have it set up right now, genuinely this might be my favorite chest rig I have right now. But regardless, I would like a V2 variant with buckles for swapping out the X harness, or just have a P84 that comes with an H harness. That's it. Do I recommend this chest rig? Yeah. If you plan on running an AR, yeah, especially. If you plan on running something a bit bigger, yeah, I guess it depends on your Met C. Depends on your Met C. But regardless, yeah, that's the P84. If you have any other questions, I know this review is probably going to be the most hastily made and just all over the place thing. I'm running out of daylight, and I'm really fucking tired, and at the end of the day I kind of just said fuck it, and I wanted to make a review on this. Again, yeah, actively running out of daylight. It's currently 7:50, so yeah. If anything, I hope you harvested some dopamine from watching me autistically ramble on and on about a piece of fabric. So with that said, to finally close this off, I hope you guys have a good day. I hope you have a good week. It's getting scary out there, but you know, you got to be scarier than what's out there. Have a good one.